Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Brock Lawley program. My name is Brock Lawley. By now, I'm sure you've heard 50 dead. Pulse nightclub. Terrorism. It just strings along like another horrible scalp on this like human appendage necklace that is the sickness that we call radical Islam. Some of us do. The carnage, the blood, the innocent people dead. I suppose just for the sake of stomaching this, I'm going to say, without a doubt, that the American people, again, are just an amazing group of people. Without a doubt. I just saw footage of hundreds of Americans lining up to give blood, largely because they don't know what else to do. Giving blood, and so much so that at least in the Orlando area, apparently they're to capacity. That's a remarkable thing. It speaks very, very highly of the American people. Sadly, when you flip that coin over, you find American leadership. And I cannot find the words to tell you the contempt that I have for American leadership. What we know about this shooter, which the media is calling him a shooter, makes me violently ill even to hear that. What we know about this terrorist is that he was vetted several times by what we now call our security apparatus in the United States of America, which has been proven time and time again to be nothing more than a PC parade holding hands to the great dismay of the poor victims in Orlando. And I have very, very little doubt that this guy's case was dropped like so many others. In fact, it wasn't too long ago that I brought you the whistleblower who said a lot of these terror cases are shut down purposely because we have an administration that plays patsy cake with terrorism. That's known by almost everybody. That's just known. And to this day, as we zip up the body bags, this president will not name the perpetrator of these murders, the ideological perpetrator of these murders. As the murderer screams Allah Akbar moments before the president takes the pulpit of progressive pablum and talks about how we will not be bullied by this hate. Just refuses to bend his stubborn ideology, his stubborn blind ostrich ideology, as the country begs for leadership, as mothers zipping up body bags with their children in, as they beg for leadership in the face of what is obviously an enemy with totalitarian means across this globe, not just in this nation. And still 8 years in, we just refuse at the top. The leadership refuses to lay down their political correct ideology, their political correct acts that they want to grind constantly, for the truth to competently protect the American people, which, by the way, is the only thing they should be concerned about. It's just sickening. So what will we hear about? What will we hear about? Well, I suppose the fact that many of the victims are from the LGBT alphabet soup community. I suppose that maybe Islam will take a couple more tongue lashings on some alphabet soup channels than normal. Maybe not. I mean, it's been conservatives like me who are called haters who have been saying for a long time, because I spent a lot of time in the Middle East, that your enemy, if you're the LGBT community, is not some Christian, some boogeyman under your bed Christian that you're taught to fear. No, it's radical Islam, who are cutting the head off of homosexuals, who are throwing homosexuals from the building. I don't know. It certainly will be guns. In fact, this guy walks in after several blips on the terrorist radar in the United States and buys legal weapons in this nation. Now, here's how the media will spin this. Listen to this. So their political correctness, their lack of calling a spade, their unwillingness to call a strike as it sails down the middle of the plate, without a doubt, caused soft velvet gloves in the investigation of this young man, this murderer. And the fact that this guy wasn't pinged, tarnished several times has everything to do with the fact that he's Muslim. The community all knows this. This is sort of like a culture that sets in. You make the wrong political correct decision in this regard, you could lose your pay, so on and so forth. There's just sort of a climate that goes on in this respect. And people know it. They just do. It's the exact same thing that happens, at the airport when, Muhammad walks through the line and all the TSA agents are like, I don't know, go frisk that 80-year-old grandma. It's the exact same mindset. This just permeates from the top. I assure you, I've actually seen it in the Air Force. Nonetheless, this guy somehow gets through that gauntlet, buys a legal gun. Now, here's what's interesting. Even though all the gun rhetoric didn't prove true, so all the crap about the illegal guns and all this kind of stuff, none of that leftist talking point bore out. Plus, the fact that a lot of these vetting processes don't work because of political correctness. In the case this guy's Islam, they're still going to try to point to they're still going to make this about guns, not about terror, not about an ideology that's at war with the West and freedom at large, not about any of that, not about morality. Not about any of that. It's going to be about guns for the left. And I'm sure we'll get lectures, I suppose, about how everybody hates gays in the United States of America, specifically Christian. Even though it wasn't a Christian who shot gays, it's your local evangelical church that is somehow, when you do the hokey pokey, somehow to blame for this thing. I know all this stuff. It's going to be this huge cobweb cloud of crap that we sift through as a nation. And here's what I predict. Hillary Clinton, because she's a cardboard candidate, will read whatever is written for her. It'll be the latest, it'll almost be like that little 5 minutes of NPR that you catch when you're home. Trump will hammer exactly what 300 million Americans at this moment are saying. It's Islam, it's Islam, it's Islam, it's Islam. I mean, that's where we're going to find ourselves. Monday morning. 50 of our Americans dead. When you go to an amusement park, when you go to a baseball game, when you go on vacation, now millions of Americans have to feel like this because a nation's leaders refuse to go to war, go for the jugular, cut the head off the snake of what everybody knows is the problem, which is radical Islam. Everybody knows it. It is a poison. It is a cult. And we're chained, we're handcuffed as a nation. Can we prevent all this stuff? Probably not. Has it permeated us as a body politic? Probably. But do you think it would help if we named this enemy, if we mobilized around this enemy, if the nation at large was spoken to as if this is a mission we must accomplish with the world? We must snuff out this unbelievable, barbaric, Viking-like, horrific, monster-like ideology. If we started speaking like that, by the way, that's how we fought Nazism, that's how we fought communism, that's how we fought all these ideologies that were trying to murder the innocent under a sick, twisted ideology that wanted to take over in totalitarian-like fashion the world with their sick ideology. It's not that hard to understand. And the rest of us just sit back and scream at our television sets, scream at our empty suit politicians, scream at our ridiculous, spray tanned news talking head. The nation is way out in front of your leaders on this one. We already know it. We know it in our DNA. How much we'll put up with? I don't know. How many more mass murders do we have to have where we all just pretend it's something else? Where we all just, stick our fingers in the ears and listen to Nancy Pelosi and listen to Elizabeth Warren and listen to Hillary Clinton, listen to, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, blow smoke up our behinds as they can't even bring themselves to call a spade a spade. This is what everybody's feeling. The people that are laying dead in Orlando are a consequence, in my opinion, of a lack of leadership and a lack of seriousness in dealing with a problem that will not go away. I saw it with my own eyes. I know what this ideology is capable of. I know what it wants to do. It just has to be addressed. It's not going to be cheap. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be neat. It's very likely going to be bloody. It's going to be hard. But there isn't another option. There isn't another option. And that starts with the leadership. Because even if what I suspect is the vast majority of Americans by now get this, until our leader gets it, and until our leaders set a culture and mobilize the minds of this country that this is what we must do, this will continue to happen. Not just here, but throughout the globe. I pray for the families, how heartbreaking this must be. I remind you this again, the American people prove time and time again that they are truly great. That they are a truly great people, a people of generosity, love, kindness. They care about each other, they take care of each other. And sadly, the American government and the leaders in it are appalling, are small, are weak, are unworthy of leading such a great nation. Do something about that. Change it. In a couple months, you're going to get that chance. Thank you for listening to the Brock Lawley program.
À Brock Lawley Productions.